And they're like, honey, you'd have to re-register and everything. You're stuck. And so I stuck.
I didn't care how much money I was making.
Right.
I was miserable. I was not happy. And I had to go do something, And my GA is like, dude, you could be one of the best.
Toothbrush talk was so negative. Like, you need Botox. What's going on? Like, da-da-da-da-da.
And we chatted a little, but then later she's like, hey, I work for BMW. I have this idea. What do you think?
All right, friends, today on the podcast, we have Ruben Rojas. Ruben, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. That was perfect.
All right. We had to practice the last name because I don't do the r very well. So we're working on it, friends. My twins are in 5th grade, and they are in Spanish immersion school. And so because they've learned these sounds at a much earlier age, they are very beautiful Spanish. I'm very jealous.
Yeah, so right now, obviously I speak it, but we have a one Spanish-speaking household, so my wife's always like, Remy better learn Spanish. He better learn Spanish. So I'm making it the effort to make sure.
So do you only talk to him in Spanish?
No, that's what I need to do.
Yeah, that's what friends of ours do when they have 2 different languages. One always speaks in one language and one always speaks in the other. And it works.
I think I'm going to brainwash myself into saying it's going to be our secret language so mommy doesn't understand.
Yeah, totally. It will be. That's what they use it for. Like they swear in other languages and no one knows what's going on because they'll smile through it. And you're like, oh, wow, what's happening? Okay, so your intro to me was 2013, left the suit for the paintbrush. Talk to me about that.
So, 2013 is when I painted my first mural.
Okay.
It still took a few years to officially renounce the suit, get rid of it, burn it, whatever you call it. I have PTSD and really don't like to wear them now.
Oh, I get it.
But for the next few years, let me start over. Why'd I end up at that? 5 years into financial advising and planning in this business, I find myself just like miserable.
But you lasted 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that field is hard. That's what I started my career path on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, my first day of work, I showed up. I'm like, hi, I'm Jenn. I'm the new financial advisor. They're like, Jenn, there's a desk and a phone book. I'm like, no, I'm the financial advisor. That I didn't sign up for a call center job. She's like, honey, it's the same thing.
Yep.
I was like, what?
Yep.
Yes.
$100 a week, $40 a day. They give you this formula.
Yeah, the strategy, the calls, the smile and dial.
I hated that.
Oh, so bad. But I had to stay because I graduated from college early to take this job that was supposed to be so lucky that I got. And so my parents are like, you're not allowed to quit. You have to stay for a year no matter what. So I'm trying to quit, but I'm not allowed. I was not going to call them. They would kill me. So I called the school. I'm like, you know how I just graduated? Do you think you could take me back and I could get another semester in? And they're like, honey, you'd have to re-register and everything. You're stuck. And so I stuck at it. And thankfully I did because it is one of those fields that you can get momentum. You can build up a business.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
It's a good business. Look, it wasn't the business so much that I said I can't be doing this. I did a lot of good work for people. No, yeah, 5 years in, I did Rookie of the Year, Leaders Conference.
You bought the Kool-Aid, right? You bought the Kool-Aid. Like, if my name's on that wall, it's going to be at the top. So I will work.
So who was the firm you were with?
I was with a company named Hance Financial out of Michigan. And then I left them and went for Mass Mutual to learn insurance industry. Nice. And then the nice thing about Mass Mutual is they had relationships with banks to do the key man insurance and all these different pieces. So then I broke off on my own, and at the time, credit unions were getting into the investment service business where before they weren't allowed. And so I had a client that was the CEO of a credit union. And when I did a review meeting with her, she's like, oh, yeah, we're going to start offering this service to our membership. I'm like, I can do that. She's like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, yes, let me interview. So I interviewed, and her second in charge gave me a little tip before I went into the meeting. He goes, hey, everybody that's presented so far is blasting their company name in here. If you would be willing to do a white label program, you will separate yourself from everybody else, and that's going to be your tipping point. I'm like, I don't care if my name's on this or not.
Yeah.
So I did the white label program, got the credit union, which then took care of the cold calling because now you have a whole membership base to take care of everything. And then I went to Credit Union Expo because credit union CEOs share ideas and concepts, and I have 13 credit unions. So I still own the business. I just hired myself out because I didn't love the day-to-day of it
No, if
anymore.
you set all that up, that's good to go.
Yeah.
The cool thing, you could, because I told some people, like, make me business cards. I could have a business card with your business. Who cares where it's coming from?
Right.
And they had the whole referral program, so it was all legal, above board revenue sharing and everything. It was a win-win for everybody.
Yes. Yeah. So no, I mean, I'm grateful I got into the industry because you have that financial knowledge for anything you do going forward. And it's fun when people get to reach their goals. And you're like, oh, you sent Junior to college, or, they retire, all that happiness.
And the other thing, the not fun part, but very fulfilling, is right before I quit. Actually, it happened a little bit after I quit. But I got the unfortunate opportunity of delivering a death check.
Oh, yeah.
Because most people don't get to do that. Not until you're 30 plus years in.
Right.
And it happened to be the guy that was my assistant.
Really?
There was a shooting in Thousand Oaks. That was the Borderline shooting at the Borderline restaurant, bar, whatever. And he was a Marine. And he went in there to help during one of these shootings, and he was one of the 12 that got killed.
Oh, it gives me goosebumps.
So it's like, and we told him, like, dude, buy one on yourself. You never know.
Right.
I mean, it sucks, but the parents were able to grieve. They got the check. Like, there's importance with this.
Oh, huge, because there's so much emotional trauma. To not add the financial trauma to those circumstances is a game changer.
The freedom to grieve and not have to worry about money.
Yeah.
And there was a time I did a DI claim. This woman, she was an attorney. I think it was my first DI case. She ended up hurting her knee, which she was on crutches forever, which led to severe carpal tunnel. She couldn't type anymore. She couldn't do it. Like, her whole practice suffered. So she got to claim her disability claim. So there's, like, really good to it. And a lot of people are like, I don't need insurance. I don't need that. So, but besides all that, like, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I didn't care how much money I was making.
Right.
I was miserable. I was not happy. And I had to go do something, And my GA is like, dude, you could be one of the best. Like, you're really good. You're good with people. You make millions of dollars in this business. I'm like, I don't care. I've been there. Prior to that, I was in real estate.
Okay.
And I was making a lot of money, and it was money to buy things. Then I went bankrupt. I'm like, whoa, I'm still me without the thing, so I need to take care of me. And now in finance, I was the guy that could also buy the things again, but that didn't work to fixing whatever I needed to address.
Yeah.
So that's what made me seek out doing the work, personal development, digging in, figuring this all out, which led to that first mural, which asked the question, who will you be? Because I didn't see it in the world. I saw fear, right? You turn on the TV and it's shootings and pandemics and politics. And if we're not feeling whole, worthy, and enough, well, look, go get plastic surgery. Go buy this thing. Go buy that to feel more manly. Go, like, all these things that just jab at our insecurities and our doubts. And I'm like, well, I need to see things to remind myself that that's not the only thing attacking me, because I felt like I was being attacked. So
I think we are being attacked. I mean, like, otherwise media would be equal.
Yeah.
And media is not equal. So
No,
we
right.
are, like, they are trying, I mean, even the social media, it's addicting for a reason, which makes me so angry, but it is what it is.
Yes. And then you see the stuff that, like, goes viral versus, I'm like, why isn't this going? Why is that going viral? It's like,
Right. Or one night I woke up in the middle of the night and I was new to this TikTok thing. Obviously, I love TikTok, how I'm saying that, right? And I woke up and in the middle of the night, I'm watching somebody have, like, thousands of viewers, like, scooping random plastic things out of something, and then they mail you the goodie bag of what you buy. I'm like, I did a live this afternoon about being authentic to yourself and owning your awesome, and what? Doesn't even make sense. So there you go. I digress.
yeah. No,
yes.
but it is. Yeah, sometimes I always joke, I'm like, is there, like, a pushback on love? Because whenever you put something in the fear space, like, people getting run over, it goes viral. And I get it. Like, it's sizzle, it's death, it's gross, but it's like,
aren't we sick of it yet? Aren't we bored with that story? Like, let the story go.
No, I think because we're so miserable inside, speaking from experience, that we use that to escape, and then it validates our situation or makes it, well, I'm not that bad off.
Yeah.
Instead of us trying to seek getting better, we just go look at what's happening like, oh, well, we're better than that. So maybe that's what it is. Because I know I would escape things for whatever reason. And
Okay, so the first mural was Who Will You Be?
Who will you be? And then I painted leader, responsible, worthy, 80 different words in that type of vein. Because again, the billboards didn't show me like, oh, this or oh, that. So I asked the question, and it was a multiple choice answers.
Yep.
And it was pick and play. So I gave myself all the answers, and whatever I needed to feel that day, I'm like, today I'm going to be the leader of my life. I'm going to take responsibility, and I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to be grateful that I have this financial planning gig, even though I hate it. Find some positivity in it and spin it. Over those next 3 years, I painted more murals. Moonlighting, I painted that thing at night. I would suit and tie from 7 to 5 and then work out, go to the wall, 2 a.m., go home. And at the time, I lived in Woodland Hills, and the mural was in Santa Monica, so that's pretty far trek.
Wow.
And that's how that first one came about, and it was done early 2014.
Okay.
And the next one was Anything Can Happen, Anything Can Be, Then You Are Beautiful, Goals and Dreams, and everything came out of in this vein of positivity and inspiration. I called them Paintspirations.
Paintspirations. I love it.
But they were like journal entries. That was my journal entry that I got to put my journal that was someone's public building that everyone drove
now how
by.
did you find those as canvases? Like, how did that all come together?
The first one, my buddy that saw me doodling, we were doodling to create a hoodie for a graduating class in this leadership workshop.
Okay.
And he's like, that's got to go on a wall. And I'm like a mural? He's like, yeah. And then I'm like, all right. And he's like, we'll enroll everyone. We'll make this our community service project. I'll be in charge of getting the wall. You do the art. You design it. Let's just enroll everyone and let's make it happen. So that's how that first mural came about.
Okay. And then how'd the second one come about?
There was another wall on Main Street, and another buddy was talking to them. I don't know. We would just knock and ask, and there was this organization that eventually came from it called Beautify Earth.
Okay.
And my buddy Evan at the time was running around just painting walls on Lincoln Boulevard.
Oh, wow.
So it was Beautify Lincoln. So you ask. So eventually they start emailing you, or brands come in, or years later.
Yeah, look at your collaborations and all that stuff, which we'll get to. But yeah, I think a lot of us miss those starting steps. And what I like about your story is, hey, it was an evolution. It wasn't like, hey, I dropped. It's like I knew I wanted to get out of this, but I needed to pave the path for something else to take it over.
Yeah.
And so it was this slow growth until all of a sudden it's not, it's an overnight success, but it's really how many years before that overnight shows up.
Yeah. No, it's always like that. But the entrepreneurial spirit in me is like, okay, if I'm going to quit this thing, I wasn't married. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't have a family. I didn't have anything at the time. How is this going to look? And then my now wife I met during that transition, and a couple other people, and even my clients were like, you need to go do this. We'll be fine. Like, go do what you're supposed to be doing. So that was part of it. But I'm like, how am I going to pay a bill? I never worked for anyone, so I've never had a salary. I've never had to clock in and clock out. So that wasn't the fear, but the not knowing how to build a business.
Right.
It's like, and everyone tells you, and I hate this, but starving artist.
Right? Yeah, but that doesn't have to be the truth. You don't have to subscribe to that.
No,
that drives me nuts that they say that too.
You could be a starving financial advisor. You could be a starving everything.
Well, you could be a financially successful person and be starving for meaning and purpose and passion and pursuit. So
even now, sometimes people, so you're not a starving. I'm like, what does that even mean? Yeah. But anyway, so then I painted a mural for money. It wasn't necessarily my work. It was like, hey, I want you to do this. Can you do this? I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's make some money at it. Then I painted another one. I did these kombucha bottles for GT's Kombucha in their factory. 20-foot tall bottles. They're real kombucha bottle on the side of their building. So I think we did 4 or 6 of them.
Wow.
And then I'm like, put a team together, make money, pay everyone out, make a chunk. Okay, there's a way to make money here.
Right.
But I didn't want to just do murals and anything. I'm like, no, this is about my voice and my journal entry and what I'm putting out there, but not from a space of ego, because I started seeing the feedback that people would get me from the murals. Because we're all mirrors of each other. So if I'm telling myself, who will you be? You drive by that wall and you're like, ooh, who will I be? And it might not be the same things that I was wondering, but you may take something from it and apply it to your life. Or same with anything can happen, or be humble, or any of the other ones. Mm-hmm. So what I started seeing is like these messages that meant something for me only opened the door for someone else, and it meant something for someone else to apply it to their life. Mm-hmm. And we just kept going. And I say we're creating a culture of love now, and it's just an opportunity to continue moving that forward. And it's this greater mission of inviting people to see the world through the lens of love.
Mm-hmm. I like that. And how do you define love?
Man, great question. I ask people this sometimes. Kobe Bryant is one of my favorite definitions of love. Okay. But what I say, I think love is undefinable. Mm-hmm. We have misdefined it. And it's whatever you need it to be in the moment. I'll tell you what it's not. It's not flowers and chocolates and rom-coms and Hallmark moments and these things that we get used to and think, oh, here is love. Let's go on a date. Or self-love is, let me spa date myself. Those are like surface levels of it. Mm-hmm. But love is like, even on your worst days, you want to have that confrontational, you don't want to have it, but you need to have that confrontational conversation. Love is choosing to have that conversation and stopping to put it off. Right? It's ups and downs. It's left and right. It's whatever you need to do, but you get to persevere through it. And it's a choice, and it's active.
Choice and active. Mm-hmm. Yes. And how do you, so when you're obviously it's fun to paint a mural and to be operating from the space of love, because then it just connects you to what it is. Mm-hmm. How do people like disconnect from love? What do you think that looks like, and how does that happen?
We disconnect by avoiding it. Mm-hmm. Or thinking that it's that warm and fuzzy thing, right? Mm-hmm. Look, I love a rom-com, and I'm a romantic, but those movies take you through this whole journey, and then it stops at the honeymoon, butterfly, jackrabbit phase.
Right.
What happens after all of that? Right? I've learned now, saying I do when you get married, that's the starting line.
Oh, it's so the starting line.
Like yes. Dating is the warm up, engage is like mobility and just greasing up the joints. I do is the starting line, and then throwing kids, that's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
And we forget, like, it's only going to be as good as the work we're willing to put into it. And you got to continually work and evolve. Mm-hmm. So just that.
So I feel from some of the work that I've seen from you, you feel love and fear are in the opposite. So when you ever find yourself in fear, because it's a part of life, what do you do to get back into love?
So the way I look at that is we either react or we respond.
Okay.
And both of it is taking action to the moment. Mm-hmm. And how we take it in is whether we're taking it in from fear or from love. And fear is a good thing. We're not saying it's a bad thing, but living in fear is, during the pandemic, we lived in fear, right? We didn't want to go out. We didn't touch our groceries. I've saw so many different levels of panic and fear. I felt so bad for a lot of people for like the prisons that they put themselves into, and even like the prisons we put ourselves into. So I think the practice is constantly practicing every single day. So that period of depression, however long it lasted, and I was judging myself for being depressed. I'm like, who the hell am I? Single, successful, healthy, fit, living in LA. Why am I depressed?
Right.
Right? And I think a lot of us beat ourselves up for feeling ways that we think we shouldn't be feeling. Doesn't mean I wasn't grateful for my life. Doesn't mean it wasn't a good life. It's just what was wrong in that moment. So what I have now is more tools to operate and flip out of it quicker. Because there's still lows. There's still days where I'm hanging down, and like there's days I want to lay on the couch and just be like, yo, this is it. I'm done. And just figuring it out and like what's happening today that's causing me to sit in this space.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a million and one ways, right? You can meditate, you can breathe, you can work out, you can this. Find what works for you. But I think ultimately it's training the awareness muscle. And there's moments where I'm completely unaware of anything. Mm-hmm. My wife's like, tone. I'm like, I don't have a tone right now. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I didn't mean it this way. So there might be something way deep down underlying that we're also unaware to. Mm-hmm. But the how is being more gentle with myself, trying not to beat myself up so much more. It's more trying to do the things that I used to do, but the opposite.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have a statement on my mirror that says, being kind to myself makes me stronger. Because I was brushing my teeth. And I was on a mountain before. So I'm brushing my teeth, looking at the world, thinking, oh, this is such a beautiful place. I'm so lucky to be here. I came back home to my bathroom. Now I get to brush my teeth indoors, look in the mirror. And my toothbrush talk was so negative. Like, you need Botox, what's going on? Like, da-da-da-da-da. And I caught myself because I had that break in my schedule. So it was something new again. I'm like, wait, this is not what I want to do. This is not who I want to be. The life's going to come at me. I need to do the best I can to build myself up to handle what comes here. It can't come from in here too and have me expect to win. So I put in this little note on my corner, and it's like, okay, being kind to myself makes me stronger. And it reminds me when I'm doing my toothbrush talk, like, I'm only allowed to say positive things at this time. This is my gratitude journal. It's a speech. It's a journal entry to myself and who I want to be and how I want to show up today.
Yeah. And those are practice, right? So if you take inventory and we look, if we treated others the way we treat ourselves, we wouldn't have any friends. Exactly. Yes. Or would have been killed or beat up by somebody or something. Right. But it's like, why do we do that to ourselves? Yeah. And sometimes we don't realize it till it's too late. Right. But trying to just work on catching it quicker. Because, look at me. Ooh, these are white now. Ooh, where did this come? Like, we can do all of that. And you could spin it positive or you could spin it negative. But life's going to happen no matter what. So you could spectate or you could actually be a player on the field. Yeah. In the arena. And the arena is where it happens, where we get to face it all and live what we decide we want to live out. So what mural are you working on right now? Well, I just painted one on Saturday. It's not done. Okay. It was a refresh of something I had done previously. Okay. I think it was 2017. It said Dreamer. And it was interesting because I painted that not necessarily for the dreamers that were the Mexican dreamer movement that was happening. And there's a lot of political turmoil and stuff. So sometimes stuff just comes out and it applies for things. Right. But whatever I painted it for, it doesn't matter what someone else took it in for and applied it for. So that's why I always say it's like, once the work is out there, it's for you. Yeah. You know, it's used for good. And whether it's what I'm saying, hey, go be a dreamer, or the political program around that was because I am a dreamer, because that's what they were considered. But the new mural now says, it's a new day, love. Because we have bad days. And look, no day's guaranteed, so we got to understand that tomorrow's not guaranteed. But when tomorrow does happen, and if it happens, and every day it happens again, we're very blessed, you can look at it, okay, well, whatever happened yesterday, today is a new day to reset, to take inventory, to do something, and just move forward. Or we can just wallow in yesterday and yesterday and yesterday and yesterday, and that's the thing. Then we're not getting out of it, and then it's just this fear cycle. No, definitely. We have, there's 1,440 minutes in a day. And so I have a little... I guess I do murals in my own house, but it's just little computer printouts that I keep on the wall. So when we're checking in with ourselves, being like, oh, 1440, 1440. And what it allows me to do is, like, if I have bad 10 minutes, am I going to let that wreck the other 1,430 minutes? No. Why would I do that? You wouldn't do that in an investment, right? Like, you always have to think of, how am I spending my minutes, and are they've happened, they're done. Like, let them go, let them die, and move on, and don't let them destroy future minutes. And I think that 1440 keeps me checked. No, I like that. Or even health and nutrition, right? People that are on strict plan, they're like, oh, I messed up. I had the cake and the donut. I'm like, okay, so make your next meal count. Yeah. Like, okay, you did it. Say, enjoy what you did. Yep. But in everything, oh, I just watched 4 episodes and binged on whatever your show is. Okay, well, tomorrow I'll get some extra sleep and don't stay up. So I like that, 1440. Yeah, it helps. And I have a nighttime routine. Do you have a nighttime routine or morning routine? I don't really have a routine. I mean, my morning is I get up, I brush my teeth, go to the bathroom, get ready to the gym, and walk to the gym, train, walk home. That's a routine. Yeah, I guess that's the morning routine. That's the morning routine. What's the nighttime routine? Well, I do. So I get home by 6. That's
Okay.
the hard cutoff.
I like that.
I don't bring work home.
Okay.
It's just family dinner time. If my wife's cooking, then it's me and Remy. Then we all eat. Then basically I put Remy to bed most of the time because he doesn't want mommy to put him to bed. He's like, no, daddy.
No, that feels good.
And
That's
I love it. Look, at the end of the day, even on tough days, it's seasonal. One day he's not going to want it.
I know.
So let me do it while I can. And that's how I
Yes.
get like those real tough moments in parenting. It's like, it's going to pass. It's not forever.
Yeah.
But so then we start getting ready, probably 7:30, 8ish. Brush teeth, sometimes bath. If it's bath, Z will do the bath. Then I lay in bed with him for like an hour. We read 3 books. It's the mommy book, the dinosaur book, and the yellow book. Before that, it was the blue truck book, the yellow book, and the other mommy book. And then we lay there, and he falls asleep. Sometimes I doze off. Z's on the couch at that point relaxing, and then I wake myself back up to go down, hang out with her.
Yeah.
We watch something. That's
Yep.
our thing. We watch a show. Then she'll go to bed because she gets up 2 hours earlier because she goes to the gym before I go to the gym.
Oh.
And then sometimes it's really hard for me to go back to sleep because once I woke myself up, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. So, but that's it. That's like the 2 bookends of the day.
I like
Middle of the day could be chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. Middle of the day normally is chaos. I mean, it's always messy in the middle. In the beginning of a goal and the end of the goal, everything's like concrete and you're there, you're seeing it, you're leaving shore. But in the middle, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. Whether it's your day, it's your anything bigger, that's how it rolls. I like the hard stop at 6.
Yeah, there's some small exceptions if I'm out of town or time-sensitive projects, but it's not like I'm 24/7 on a project. But besides that, I don't work on weekends very rarely, again, if I'm out of town or something.
Okay. And how do new ideas come to you? How do you make space in your life for that?
They just come.
They just come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not when I'm not trying to think about new ideas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, my ideas come to me in the shower almost always.
Shower. Used to come a lot driving because I used to
Okay.
drive a lot more, but
Right.
now I don't have to. And I would literally pull over and just put on my notes and like either write poems or this or that, but I just don't spend as much time in the car anymore.
What's your favorite thing you've created?
My kid.
Nah, that's $1 million answer. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's my greatest creation. Obviously my wife did the heavy lifting, but that's
Yes.
still part of me, and he's forever going to be, part of me, and until he becomes him and does his little thing, and we'll see.
How old is he right now?
2.5.
Yeah, so he's starting to get a little interest in things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They come hardwired with their own little program, and it's just fun to watch that unfold and say, like, okay, this is your deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a special little guy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So love, like when I look at your artwork online, you did the murals, you have clothing, you have the little blocks that you can buy, you have some, like the little love statue thing is cute too. How did you decide what the next product was going to be, what you're going to expand into, if something's working, not working?
There's no like strategy people would say that is your strategy. So, but like whatever I feel like kind of, it's like what feels like is next. Not everything is a hit, or I'll tell you this, don't listen to people.
Okay.
Whenever you listen to people like you should do this and then you do it, it just sits there. Nothing happens. And as much as you want to listen to people and the community and you're like the customer, and just trust what you're creating and keep going with that way. So I'm always thinking, I'm always testing. I'm methodical, like feel the shirt. It's not a $5 super rough.
Yes, I'm wearing a beautiful shirt for everybody who's watching this
They're
thing
like
right
really
here.
nice
Yes.
quality. So
it is nice quality, and it's soft, and I love. How do you get your font so consistent when you're doing all your work on those murals?
just
Like,
painting it for so many times.
it's unbelievable to me. I'm so jealous.
But if you look at 2014 to 15, it's like it just changed it over time, and now it's just like the thing. And people look at me and they're like, "Oh, I thought that was nope. I do it by hand." They're
Yeah,
like,
I saw you do it by hand. I'm like, oh, this has to be essential. Or they're just like popping it on like a sticker. Nope, it's all done by hand. It's amazing. Okay, talk to me about the BMW deal, because I love that car. I have a Porsche, and my kids are like, can we do that to the Porsche? I'm like, I don't know.
No, so a couple years ago, A guy reached out. He's like, hey, I want to buy my friend something for her birthday. This is kind of my budget. I'm like, look, we have a print. I'll hand embellish it. I'll make it a little, extra special. We'll give it to her. And then he's like, cool, here. So he paid for it. And he's like, so ship it. Here's the address. I'm like, she's my neighbor. I'm just going to go deliver it in person.
Oh, no way.
Just still during COVID. So she's like, yeah, she's working out of the house. I had the mask on. But I go knock, and I'm like, here. We talked for a little bit and then left. And I didn't know anything from anyone. But this is when you never know what the interactions are going to be, or you never know what it, to me, it's like, oh, it's someone's birthday. Let's go do this special. And why not have the artist deliver the art? That's all I thought. Like, it might be more special to do this than to ship it and have it appear. And what's half an hour out of my day? Like, I knew it was there.
Yeah.
And we chatted a little, but then later she's like, hey, I work for BMW. I have this idea. What do you think? So that's kind of how that happened. And then we have a couple years of driving a BMW, and we got to do 3 different BMW projects.
They're so cool.
So that's how, that's it.
Yeah, and the wrap's I've watched you do one of the loves on the front of it and how it goes over the edge. I'm like, oh, it's amazing.
So each one I hand placed on just like a painting.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's the thing that people don't realize, because usually you could print out a design, but we wrap the car and then we cut out 250 different size loves, and the black one was 5 different shades of black. I'm like, we're going to do black camo. And then I just put them on one by one. It took 2 12-hour days.
2 12-hour days. Because you're not doing it on the computer and then just letting it copy. You're saying, okay, we're going to have these, and then you're visually placing them as you're going.
Yeah, the car was my canvas, just like a painting.
Wow. That's amazing. I love it. I mean, I think, and it's cute that it says love.
And I mean, I grew up, my mom had a BMW. I learned to drive stick on one of those. Like, I love BMW. So it also just all worked out because it felt authentic. It felt, it's like a dream car. And then we made the campaign Driven by Love. Yeah. So it's super cool.
That is super cool.
And I'm a car guy. I love cars.
Yeah. Still BMW, or do you have other ones?
I love Beamers. I have my daily driver right now is a 63 Chevy C10.
Woo!
Yeah.
Nice.
LS conversion, but it's not the most convenient.
Yeah.
But it gets me around. It's paid off, so I don't want a car payment right now.
There you go. I had an affinity for the Toyota Land Cruisers from the 80s. Oh, yeah. So there was this time where they had the square headlights, and so I bought one out of Austin. I live up in Park City. It didn't like Park City. Because of the altitude. And so then you had to change the carburetor to get things that I don't understand. But I got it fixed to run in Park City. And when you have a Cayenne that's your normal daily driver, and then this one, it's an entirely, I'm like, you know what? This just doesn't work. And it had to be driven every week, or it got grumpy and it didn't work or whatever. It was one of those ideas that were beautiful on paper, just not in reality.
No, fully loaded X5, twin turbo, amazing, quiet. I could do phone calls in it. My 63 is Fiona Blue. Love her, and I'm going to have her forever, but I can't make a phone call in it. So right. When I drive somewhere far, I'm like, oh, what am I? Because usually it's phone call, book, podcast, something.
Right.
But you can't hear in the thing.
That's so funny. Yeah, it's reality. That's how it goes. So work out. What do you do for fun?
Travel.
Train. Eat. Yeah. Are you training for anything specific?
Life.
Zombie
apocalypse.
I like it.
No, and I always say it's really to play with my grandkids.
Okay.
Like, what's the point of getting to that point if I can't run up the pyramids with them, or visit or travel or whatever we end up doing? And I want to throw them around just like I throw around my kid, because we're going to age. It's inevitable.
Right.
How we age is our choice.
No, and your podcast has a ton of good tips on the people that you interview and ways to make life more efficient and effective, I'd say, from the episodes that I've been listening to. Yeah. I really enjoyed those pieces. Any place you want to go particularly?
I always say anywhere I haven't been yet.
Okay.
We travel. Remy has been to 9 countries.
Okay.
He's about to hit his 10th and 11th next month.
Where are you guys headed?
France, and then I think we're doing Belgium and Netherlands, and then back through France.
Okay.
We always like rent a car and just drive through the country.
And how do you pick? Like, what made you decide France?
I think Z looked at what's the nicest flights. We did Paris in the cold, so we wanted to go back when it's a little bit warmer. But we always like to do new destinations. So we were talking Argentina, we were talking Portugal, we were talking Originally, it was supposed to be Scotland, but because my buddy moved back to Scotland, but he's coming into town for a little bit.
Okay.
So then we just shelved Scotland for another time.
Okay.
And that's just what ended up. She found it. She's like, I'm like, just surprise us, whatever.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so you balance your life by having the stop in the middle of the day. You have the morning routine. You have the nighttime routine.
Mm-hmm.
Ideas come to you just by doing you. You feel like you're living your best life.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see the future going?
Well, I have a lot of visions. One, and I say it every time now because the more you say these things, the more people you say it to, someone's listening and someone can help make your dream reality. Because, yes, it's up to us, but we got to be open to asking for help and seeking help. So Jordan collaboration.
Okay.
As you see, I'm wearing the Jordans right now.
Yes.
I would love a Ruben Jordan shoe.
Yes.
And I think it'll be awesome and epic.
Yes.
2028 Olympics are coming to LA.
Yep.
I want to do something for opening ceremony, something.
Yeah, you did something for Burning Man, right? The Love?
A camp took a sculpture to Burning Man.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I saw that.
I didn't go.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it gave them an idea.
The
of what
art
it
was
could
there.
do.
The
Yeah,
art was there. Yeah, last year we did the sculptures with the NFL, the whole Choose Love campaign. This year we're continuing that with hats for 6 different teams. I just unveiled a 15-foot sculpture in Charleston. So I see it everywhere. I want it to get everywhere. I want it to be international. I want them to get bigger. And I think that's what's going to change the world, one piece at a time.
Will you add an artist underneath you to apprentice?
You know what I learned? Because at first I'm doing this, I'm like, I have to create everything. That's what you think. And that's probably, that's from ego, obviously. But then I saw a master class on Coons and I saw some other stuff and I start learning like, wow, these artists have 100+ artists working under them. They're not doing everything. I'm like, how can I make all of this stuff and be everywhere I want? It's not possible. Because when I'm on a mural, I could be 6 days in front of a wall. The rest of everything's going to suffer. So, yeah, eventually I would like more team. I have team for different parts of the business, but it'd be great to have more, whether they're apprentice or what, or someone I could hire full-time that's skilled and not worried about their thing. And they just want to build a bigger mission that they want to be a part of.
Yeah, from the center of love. One of the things I like that you said is throwing it out there and saying what you're doing. So I climb mountains, and we always tease that everybody loves to see you waving the flag at the top. Like, that's where you take the photo. But the true journey is being able to wave your flag the entire time along the entire pursuit, because it tells the world, hey, here's where I am. Here's what I need. Here's how I can help. And if we have the courage to say, hey, I'm not at the top of the mountain yet, but here's some mountain that I'd like to climb. There'll always be another mountain. But when we are allowed to wave our flag in our pursuit, then it allows the universe to work with us to make these things happen, even when it's turning around and having to come back.
Totally.
Yeah, I've had to do that a few times.
Also, with Seek Your Summit, don't make your summit someone else's summit, right? Your summit could be flat.
Right.
And that's fine. I think that's where a lot of this gets confusing too. Like, well, I'm not the president of the U.S., so I can't make a difference. That's not true. We can make a difference at every level, and just own the fact that you can be in service and make a difference.
Yeah. And I like how you allowed things to unfold. I feel anytime I've had this idea of how something needs to look, so I'm looking at the end, I'm here, and then I'm forcing it so much to look like that one piece that I'm missing these opportunities along the way that allow the journey to look entirely different. I mean, when I broke off in the financial service business, I was like, okay, I'm going to build my own office. I'm going to have my name on the outside of it, and we're going to have a secretary and color copy machines and silly things that I stopped doing the thing that made the business work. And so I remember getting a color copy machine bill. We're going to be in trouble. Like, this is getting expensive. We are not hitting this nut. Well, then the opportunity came with the credit union, which wasn't what I set out to do, I had no idea it was even an opportunity. But because I was on the pursuit, and I was open enough and flexible enough to be like, okay, let's go down that path and see what it leads to. Let's go down this thing and see what it leads to. And it shifted the entire business to go down that direction. And with what you're doing with, okay, we're going to do this. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, at least we know. Or maybe it's too early. Or here's an idea. Because you just came out with the tattoos. I love the tattoos.
Yeah, and for anyone, like I don't have one yet. I say yet, you never know. But it's fun to put them on. They have a bunch of different designs. And there's people that have full sleeves of my actual art, which is the most humbling thing ever.
Oh, I believe it.
And I'm like, what's another way that people can have fun and express themselves with this?
Yeah.
And they last like 2 weeks.
I know, they're awesome. Mm-hmm. I know. Like, I showed my kids them before I was leaving. They're like, "Are we getting those?" I'm like, "We'll see." So
yeah, and I've been putting one here because
yes,
is
the love
hand.
spot there. Yes,
and that's where I might say, you know what? Don't have any, but I got to put on the hand that started it all.
Yeah. Are you left-handed?
Mm.
I like that. I'm left-handed too. The creative side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so how do people follow you and become a part of this whole mission of Live, Love, Loud?
Everything's under my name.
Okay.
Ruben Rojas. You can Google it, at Ruben Rojas on Instagram, Twitter. At livethrough.love is the clothing line on Instagram. And then We Live Through Love is the podcast on Instagram. But Ruben and Live Through Love should show you everything.
Live Through Love, my friends. What a fun episode today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
My pleasure.